It is true what they say about the grief bringing people together. In the case of Queen Elizabeth's death, it's brought the nation closer together, physically and emotionally, as thousands queue to pay their respects. Interestingly, it is difficult to find someone who said a bad word about waiting in line for hours on end, exposed to the elements. Many cite the service the Queen gave, hoping that their 10 hours of patience can repay 70 years of selfless reign. Even when they became one of the seemingly thousands of teeming heads at the dread zig-zag bottleneck near the front, it wasn't enough to deepen their spirits. It is all still quite an odd spectacle till today. A single file queue spanned as far as the eye can see, high-vis jackets were everywhere, roads were blocked, contingents of soldiers regularly passed by on patrol. A young boy who has been waiting in the queue rushes to the swings at the nearby Horseferry playground. Police officers with rifles standing not 5 meters from him. You wouldn't be blamed for thinking the United Kingdom was at war. All this made us think how weird the last days of Queen Elizabeth's life and how she spent those moments. Let's get to the details. Sources close to Her Majesty have revealed Queen Elizabeth II was rather perky in her last days, as she enjoyed a shooting party with her cousins, had a special dinner and watched her favorite TV weatherman. 4 days before the Queen died, she announced to her cousins, whom she had invited to Balmoral Castle for a couple of days, that their dinner would be informal, the Daily Mail reported. That means no black tie for the men, no longer dresses for the women. However, the most unusual part of the announcement is that there would be no bagpipes being played in the Scottish castle that night. That was a Precarian tradition, according to the publication. Her guests were her post-Lyons cousins, relatives through the Queen Mother's family, and they told the news outlet their cousin the Queen was in good form, adding that she was perky even. Another visited included the moderator of the Church of Scotland, Reverend Dr. Lane Greenshields, who visited the late monarch on both Saturday and Sunday before she died. Speaking to the Daily Mail, he said she was in good spirits and was absolutely in the bowl. She was talking about her past, her love for Balmoral, her father, her mother, Prince Philip, horses, very much engaged with what was happening in the church and what was happening in the nation too, Greenshield said. Her health was frail, we knew that, but when I left her on Sunday she was very positive, and I'm just finding it very hard to believe that in those few days things had changed so much. A source close to the monarch said that the 96-year-old drew strength from those close to her, but a separate source went on to reveal to a touching revelation that it wasn't just those close to her. The unnamed source told the Daily Mail that Her Majesty had developed a liking for BBC weatherman Thomas Kufernacker. It was like a bit of a crush. She always wanted to watch the forecasts when she was on. The source said she was amused hearing the cadence when his name was read out, but she loved watching him too. While Her Majesty's final days were spent with those she loved, her final summer was also spent doing the things she loved. Staff revealed to the Daily Mail that during Europe's July heat wave, when she was still residing at Windsor, she asked for a sun lounger to be put out of her in the garden so she could take advantage of the warm days. Other memorable moments for the monarch included one last ride on a pony. The Queen was known as an avid animal lover and owned many horses in her career as a racehorse owner. Stud groom Tory Bendery told the Mail that monarch visited her horses at Windsor Castle before going to Scotland, and when asked if she wanted to sit on a pony, she said yes. Bendery said the Queen did 4 laps and believed it was the first time she had been on a leading prince since learning to ride. In her final days, she also spoke to her horse trainer Clive Cox about her filly love affairs, her horse who would go on to be the final winner of the Queen. He told the news outlet, "We talked about the filly, how the race might pan out, how another horse of hers was doing in my stable, and about a couple of other things. She was as sharp as a tack." Unfortunately for the Queen, her final summer was filled with both happy and sad memories. The Daily Mail revealed that her final months at her beloved estate were tainted with sadness following the passing of her oldest and longest surviving dog, Candy. At 18 years old, the Dachshund Corgi crossbreed known as a Dorji passed away shortly after the Queen arrived at Balmoral. The Queen has long had the rule that her dogs are buried at the estate in which they die. However, Candy was flown to London and transferred to Windsor, where she was buried with another long surviving companion, Vulcan, who passed away in 2020. Normally, she would oversee the burials of her precious pets along with her head gardener. However, Her Majesty didn't oversee Candy's burial. The move was one that led her staff to believe she was planning to return to Windsor at the end of her summer holiday in Scotland so she could later oversee Candy's headstone being placed. Despite Her Majesty's physical decline in recent months, which made standing and walking difficult, sources claim on the week of the Queen's passing there were no immediate alarm about her health, but a doctor and nursing staff were kept close by. Unfortunately, by the Wednesday, Her Majesty reportedly experienced a sudden change in her condition and her health deteriorated substantially, resulting in castle staff alerting the royal family. While it is not known what happened in the Queen's final hours and whether she received the last rites, two of her children, Princess Anne and Prince Charlie, were by her side at the time of her passing. The Queen wished to be buried in the same place as her father, mother, as an echo of Prince Margaret's final desire. Perhaps the sisters carried within their hearts memories of carefree childhood, when their father called Elizabeth his bride and Margaret his joy. Prince Margaret, who died in 2002, was so intent on being placed in the little chapel she left orders. It was reported at the time that she be cremated knowing there wouldn't be enough room for an extra coffin once Elizabeth and Philip's grave joined that of her father and the Queen Mother. Lady Zig-Zag or Lady-in-Waiting to Prince Margaret in the 2018 documentary Elizabeth, Our Queen, confirmed Margaret's extreme desire. Princess Margaret was cremated, one of the first members of the royal family, because she wanted to be buried between her parents and there was only room really for ashes, Lady Glencairn revealed. And so it came to pass. The coffin of George, who died in 1952, had been moved from the royal vault to the Little Memorial Chapel soon after it was built. His wife Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, died at 101, a month after Margaret, and was entombed within her late husband Margaret's ashes alongside. And now Queen Elizabeth is on her way to the family chapel for together. Within days, the Duke of Edinburgh will be placed in the same resting place. The final enactment of the latest Elizabethan era will be complete.